please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. At the 4th edition of the Google for India event, the tech giant announced the rebranding of its Made in India payments app called Google Tez, which was launched in September. Now, Tez will be known as Google Pay henceforth, but there's more to this than just a name change. CNBC TV18's Megha Vishwanath caught up with Rajan and Anandan of Google to find out.
From Facebook-backed WhatsApp to homegrown player Paytm, everyone wants to ride on the growth wave of financial inclusion in the country. Google Tez, which debuted in September last year, is now been rebranded to Google Pay and has partnered with 4 Indian banks, ICICI, HDFC, Kotak Mahindra and Federal Bank, to grant instant loans to pre-approved users.
Google Tez has become Google Pay. What was the rationale behind this? And, except for the change in name, what else is new?
No, so I think this is a very, very important change that we're making here, right? Because in many ways what we're saying is Tez, which was built for India, is now going global, and all the learnings that we've had from India can be exported to the world, right? And we want to also make sure that certain set of features that are in Google Pay get integrated into Tez, right? So I think it's a very, very positive development.
Google Tez has been up and running for less than a year, but within that time frame from September to now, August 2018, the numbers that were shared were 55 million downloads, 22 million active monthly users. But unlike other payment platforms, Google's been very shy or a little conservative when it comes to the marketing or spreading word around Google Tez. Would we see a change in that strategy?
We've had 750 million transactions, and the gross transaction value now is $30 billion run rate. So these are actually pretty large numbers, right? So, our Google's philosophy has always been build awesome products that consumers love, that they'll spread the word about. And you can see what's happened in less than 12 months. Now going forward, you'll see us obviously do things differently. I guess you'll have to watch the space.
We will, but I would also like to know, what does it mean for competition, be it WhatsApp Pay or Paytm or MobiKwik?
So the real competition actually is cash, right? India still uses just about almost all is cash, right? So I think there's a massive opportunity for all players to get into this. The internet ecosystem, which was all about metro, which was about millennials, and which was all male, has now changed dramatically, right? In 2 years, 45% of internet users are going to be women, right? There's been a 10x growth in rural users over the last few years, right? And now we've entered, we think, a new era of the Indian internet, which is about voice, video, and vernacular. And then in terms of transaction volumes, look, payments, e-commerce, online travel, we'll see all of these segments grow. But the 3 most defining trends would be voice, video, and vernacular, not for Google, but for the internet in India.
Official now, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is invested in Paytm's parent company 197 Communications. With this, Paytm now has 3 marquee investors, including China's Alibaba and Japan's SoftBank. The investment manager of Berkshire, Todd Cobbs, will join the board of Paytm. Joining us now is Vijay Shekhar Sharma, the founder of Paytm. Vijay, thanks very much and congratulations. Let me get straight to the numbers. Take us through the deal value. Also, where does Paytm's valuation now stand? When SoftBank had invested, it was about $7 billion from when I remember.
Yeah, you're right. SoftBank investment was $7 billion. Although our Berkshire is not quoting the deal amount, so I won't be able to put up a number to that. But I can definitely say it has a handsome upside from a SoftBank investment benchmark.
Okay, so some upside there from the SoftBank investment. Deal value, any indication at all? Anything that you can share with us?
I can only say that media is in the range. I am not going to confirm, but definitely the conversations that I'm reading in the newspaper are in the range.
Okay, all right. So help me understand, is this going to happen in tranches, the investment? When is Berkshire going to take that board seat?
I think there's no chance, first of all, and board appointment will happen in due course. It's just that Amit Singhal, who is on our board, will swap from him to Todd, and that will take in due course. Whenever Amit resigns, and in due course we will ask Todd to come on board. So it will take some time.
Okay, so the board seat will take some time. How do did the deal come about, Vijay? Who initiated the conversation?
Well, one of my board members, Mark Schwartz, asked me in one of those conversations that, would you like to meet .com of Berkshire? Because I was talking to him, and he was looking to know more about Paytm. So I said, yeah, why not? And that's how the journey and the conversation started. And then finally, we were like, oh, sure, why not? Then Todd said, okay, let's meet up. And then I went to Omaha, met him, and then the conversation started. So actually, it was more of a connection like that just built upon a connection and then discussion, conversation. And then he seemed to have liked our company and then suggested that they could invest because we were not raising any formal loan. So I went on to ask my current shareholders, and they were very happy seeing Berkshire's name. So one thing leading to other, we got only them to put money because we did not want somebody else to dilute as an extra. So we just got their money, and then we just closed it last 2 days back.
Okay, so Vijay, you mentioned Todd Combs. For the benefit of our viewers, let me just mention that Todd is one of the key fund managers at Berkshire. Now, in the past, the fund has been known to be very selective with its investments. The hardcore tech company that they have invested in is Apple. So this is a big endorsement for Paytm as well as the Indian startup ecosystem. What do you think appealed to them? What were some of the things that were brought up during the course of the conversation and the discussions that you had with them?
I think based on the conversation, I could gather. Obviously, I can't say much about what likes or not and what is exciting. I definitely could guess based on the conversation. It seems that the scale, execution, and opportunity of India. I think like that, because there is a huge scale that is possible to build a financial services here. It's very under-penetrated market, and definitely India as a demography is going to be led by mobile phones. So we are one of those companies which are correctly demographically placed. And then what is, I'd say, execution of the team. So I think conversations are on these sides. Not to say that they like these or something else or what they were looking at. Obviously, what they looked at probably they found. And what I was talking are these kind of things which I just told you. That how big India is a market, how the payment on the mobile will be the bigger thing, and then it will take the shape of financial services, and then how the players are paying out. So those conversations probably make me understand what this was.
The opportunity and the payments opportunity may have done the trick. But, while CNBC was the first to confirm the deal news and report also mentioned that Warren Buffett was not part of the deal, have you had any chance to interact with him? You said that you went to Omaha. Did you meet with Buffett?
No, I didn't interact with Warren Buffett. I only talked to Todd.com, and I met Todd only. So, yes, that's how it is. I mean, it's an investment by Todd and team. So, in a way, it's a Berkshire investment, not Warren Buffett investment. And Berkshire side, it was Todd, not Warren. And I didn't meet Warren yet, actually. I didn't meet him yet. I am sure and I hope that now he'll be able to, considering we have invested by his company, so there will be an opportunity to see him.
Well, I certainly hope that that is in fact the case. But, Vijay, what are you looking at from this deal? Clearly, as you said, you were not looking at a formal fundraise, but nevertheless, the money is coming your way. But what are you looking at from this deal specifically?
The most important thing that I've been looking for is that we'll have seasoned professionals like .com coming on board. He's one of those extraordinary people in this space. His capability, learning, experience will be a guiding factor for us. He comes from a different vantage point, and that will be a good point for us. And second point would be that Berkshire have the experience of meeting and having a network of huge amount of companies in the world. So access to that will be another great asset for us.
Right. So expertise is clearly what you're interested in. But let me turn the questions around. Apart from tapping into the huge market opportunity, speaking specifically about the decision of investing into Paytm, what was in it for Berkshire, from a profitability perspective as well?
No, this is a different space company. So the conversation was around scale and what kind of market share can we command in long term. It didn't have profitability. as a primary objective conversation. In due course, we definitely want to be not just profitable but free cash flow generating. And we've seen in the world that companies in technology are in such way that they earlier are not necessarily making profits, but over the period, once they start becoming profitable, they start generating huge amount of free cash flow.
Okay, so with this investment, Vijay, you perhaps have the most enviable portfolio: Berkshire Hathaway, SoftBank, Alibaba. Pressure?
I'm feeling elated. The best of Japan, best of China, best of US is with us. What else a man could ask? What else an entrepreneur could ask? I think this is extraordinary.
Worried about being able to manage these marquee investors, while one might want to focus on profitability, the other might want to focus on scale, for instance?
I think forget about every investor. This is like asking a question: if it was a listed company, what would investors ask? Simply, I think overall in a private stage, investors always ask for large market share, large customer base, and then potentially large business generating large revenue. And it happens in a sequence. You first get large customer base, then you get large revenue, then you get large profit. And I think everybody is in sync with that as a theory. I think all these companies that you're quoting are also themselves companies in public markets. They also understand what public market investors themselves look at. So there is actually a interesting mix where the conversations are in a private space where we can talk about what all these things are.
All right, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, we will have to leave it there. Appreciate you joining us, and here's wishing you and everyone at Paytm and 197 the very best of luck. Thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV18.
And that's the big deal of the e-commerce space. But let's move on to another important interview. Four-wheeler subsidies will be limited to connected and sharing vehicles. That is the word coming in from Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant. However, he stressed the need to incentivize electrification of two-wheelers, three-wheelers as well as buses. Here's his rationale.
See, if you were to start subsidizing personal transportation on a very large scale, the cost to our mind will be fairly exorbitant. We've done that number crunching, and
what is
our
that
belief
number, sir?
is
What is that number?
No, well, I mean, it's not correct to reveal everything, but our view is that what the country needs to push for is public transportation. We need to really push for public transportation, and we need to make people move towards a sharing, connected and a zero emission world, and zero emission in a gradual manner. You can't, it has to be over a time frame, but sharing, connected, yes. And therefore, the buses is something, public transportation is something which we definitely, the government would like to support in a very big way. The government would like to support two-wheelers, the government would like to support three-wheelers, and the government would like, definitely, this is something which is very easily doable, and the government would like to push for technological disruption so that people move towards a sharing and a connected world as far as, and that's something which will be good for the society. So we need to look at the impact in terms of pollution, we need to look at it in terms of technology, and we need to push for both.
Again, sir, I come back to my point, and I will ask you to address it very simply. I go back again to the comments that you just made, that you would like to, the government would like to support two-wheelers, three-wheelers and technological disruption in the sector. Again, there has been a lot of talk about subsidies even to four-wheelers as part of the FAME policy, which could be unveiled along with the Mobility Summit. That was what we were given to understand. So are we clear that government subsidies will go to two-wheelers, three-wheelers and buses, and that four-wheelers may or may not get subsidy from the government? And what is this number that will finally be allocated towards subsidizing electric mobility?
No, so Shireen, I'm not saying that four-wheelers will not be supported, but four-wheelers would be supported as long as it should be for the sharing and a connected four-wheeling vehicle. And that would, because after all the
Mr. Narendra Modi and the BJP President Amit Shah today held a 10-hour-long brainstorming session with all the BJP chief ministers. The focus was clearly on the upcoming polls in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, as well as the 2019 election strategy. The Prime Minister reviewed performance of all election round-bound states and urged chief ministers of all 15 BJP-ruled states to make sure government schemes for poverty alleviation and farmers have maximum impact on the ground. The meeting was also attended by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Home Minister Rajnath Singh. Parishit Luthra caught up with Rajya Sabha MP Rakesh Sinha, BJP spokesperson Syed Zafar Islam, Rajiv Rai of Samajwadi Party and Congress spokesperson Sanjay Jha to find out about the big game plan for the 2019 elections.
Zafar Islam, what is the big message coming out of this meeting? What is the 2019 election going to be all about for the BJP? This is coming in the backdrop. This massive meeting that took place today, it's coming in the backdrop of Congress's plan to have 100 press conferences over the Rafale deal, hold marches across the country and corner the government on the issue of demonetization, defense preparedness and the economy.
Well, Prakshit, first of all, let me respond to the first part of the question. That such brainstorming session is important purely because you have government in 15 states, you have a partnership with, along with other coalition partner in many other states. And it is important that the election in 3 states are coming. It's due in some time from now, and even next year you have a general election. We as a political party, we feel it's a responsibility because we never feel that we are ruling in those states or for that matter ruling the country. We feel that it is our responsibility, it's an obligation to go back to people and give our report card, and it is important to evaluate what we have promised, what we have delivered, and what was their aspiration, how much we have been able to meet their expectation and aspiration. Because as a political party, we always feel that we have to serve the people, not rule them. So it's a collective responsibility for the leadership as well as the Karyakarta, because the feedback keeps coming from Karyakarta and the senior leadership and the chief minister from the respective states do interact, understand the dynamics, and also the feedback coming from both common citizen of this country or for that matter the Karyakarta, and come up with something which works for the party as well as the people of this country. But let me also, second part of the question you are talking, but let's just 30 seconds.
You have Zafar Islam.
The second part of your question, you are talking about Congress is planning to have a Rafale press conference over Rafale because they are not getting any traction. They will not get any traction because they are spreading lies. And when a bunch of liars speak to people of this country, when they are known, they have been the people who have looted this country, they will never be able to get any traction.
Spelling out the strategy that we will have a governance report card ready, and today's meeting was to prepare the BJP's report card for the upcoming elections. And the reason why Congress is making allegations is because they have nothing to speak about.
You know, Parikshit, there was an opinion poll done by an independent TV channel recently, and in all the 3 states, and I would say including Mizoram, the 4 states that go to polls, the BJP is likely to lose all 4 of them. So I can understand that they are upset and they are rattled. But what is the truth? The truth is that Rafale scam is something which is going to be a household, shall we say, awareness in the next couple of weeks. Every household in India needs to know how the government led by Prime Minister Modi has been so non-transparent and allowed crony capitalism to flourish. And I think that's a big business corruption issue. The second point that I'm going to tell you upfront, the Congress party is going to talk about the following. The job crisis which has let down the youth, the petrol price hikes which have destroyed the confidence of the middle class, the complete, the promise that was reneged on the MSP which has got the farmers protesting and many of them dying. You have the atrocities on the Dalits and the minorities and the lynchings. And as far as national security and the neighborhood foreign policy is concerned, we believe Narendra Modi has been a total failure. So we really don't understand what the BJP is going to talk about. But they're welcome. They're about political opponents. We don't treat them like enemies like they treat us. So Jadoo ki Jhappi for my friend, it's a political contest. And I think we have a lot to talk to the people of India about why they cannot and should not risk a BJP again. I have a feeling we have a new Prime Minister in 2019.
The opposition is making a lot of allegations. Your party is working very hard in Uttar Pradesh to come back to power as well. But when we speak about 2019, Is there a national alternative? Because the BJP is of the view that what is the alternative for Narendra Modi? And is this a question that also worries you at the end of the day, Rajiv Rai?
You know, the BJP, I mean, they have not learned the lesson from the history. I mean, they could not correct their history. I mean, they cannot. But they have not learned the lesson also. You know, prior to 1977, nobody even could dream that same Atal Bihari Vajpayee in the parliament spoke, no, Indira Gandhi is like a Durga. And 1977, Indira Gandhi went away. That again 80, that the 1977 Janata Party Sarkar, after independence, that was the most, and the total freedom we were calling. 80, that government collapse. 84, the Bhuto na Bhavishyat, Rajiv Gandhi, Rajiv went back. And when India was signing, most respectable leader of this country, late Atal Bihari Vajpayee, could not come back. So let them be in the Mugeri Lal ke Hasin Sapne. Let them think there is no
you're telling them, don't be arrogant. You're telling the BJP, don't be arrogant.
And not only the, not the country got an alternative face, but also he repeated the
quick advice to BJP. BJP is a part of the RSS. Would you like to tell Zafar Islam and the BJP today that please pull up your socks ahead of the assembly polls? There is anti-incumbency that the BJP is facing in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. They need to gear up for a difficult electoral battle. Rakesh Sinha, would you say that?
You know, there is a fundamental difference, basic difference between BJP and non-BJP parties. I am not criticizing them, but I am just asking them for self-introspection. The BJP is led by two persons here, the top leadership, Narendra Modi ji as the Prime Minister and Amit Shah ji as the party president. You just see how they are intensively engaged with their party workers, extensively discussing all the issues from booth to the Chief Minister's action. On the other hand, these parties have armchair leadership. Those who go foreign tour, when their election is heading, 4 states election is heading, and Rahul Gandhi is touring foreign country. Akhilesh Yadav, where is Akhilesh Yadav? I don't know. Where he's demonstrating against the inflation. He's leading the farmers' march. There is no such things. So armchair politicians can't compete with those people who are intensively engaged with their workers, people, and have an extensive discussion with their
I'll have to end here.
Workers, leaders, and the Chief Minister. That is the message of the
I've completely run out of time. I'd like to thank all our panelists. You've got the BJP and RSS and the Congress and the Samajwadi Party in a political fight over here. But let's see what the elections and the voters really have in mind.